I want to appreciate a little more of this quality of attention that we bring in our Zazen, understood as calming and concentrating and clarifying and insight. We'll say a little bit more about the clarifying and insight side. But to begin with, I want to talk about the calming and the clarifying side, that shamatha side. So what we're developing there is the spaciousness of the calmness that allows us to do the inquiry. And we talked about how that is something that takes time, continuous attention, continuity of practice. Bring your attention repeatedly back to the object of your meditation. The continuity leads to concentration, which leads to absorption, which ultimately leads to unification. So this is samadhi. Concentrated absorption. At the highest level, unification with everything, the cosmos, the universe. Unity consciousness. Over a good amount of time into practicing, and this is the dimension that really takes some time to develop and cultivate. And the more and more capacity we have, the stronger a samadhi is. And the more piercing our insight will be. The more acute and meticulous the attention to the sensorium of what's going on within our bodies and minds. We apply ourselves to really looking at, appreciating, feeling the rising, persisting, falling away of the dharmas, the dharma of your mind, senses, phenomena, right? We arise, everything arises, persists, falls away. Everything, always, is always doing this. These three phases are the, you could say, a resistance to these three phases, or a complicated relationship with these three phases, is what the Buddha identified as the three poisons. The three poisons are the forms of attachment. So the second noble truth says the attachment is the source of all of our suffering. Attachment manifests as craving, aversion, or ignorance. So craving is we want something to arise that isn't arising, or we want something to stay that is fading away. Aversion means we resist something that's arising, or we want something to fade away that isn't. And ignorance, we could say, is just we're actually resisting being aware of something that's persisting. So truly, you could say that our practice and the expression of practice and working with the three poisons at its most direct level is let go, let be, let come. Yeah. Sometimes spiritual practice it's summed up as let go. It's always about letting go. But I don't think it's all about letting go. I think it's about being in the real, truly have an honest, direct, and wholehearted relationship to what's real, which means to what's arising, what's persisting, and what's falling away. So what's arising, let come. Don't fight it. Don't pull for more. What's persisting, let it be. Accept it. Welcome it in to your heart, your life. Don't push it away, even in the way of avoidance, turning away. That's ignorance, right? Turning away from what is. And then let go. Let go of that which is going, falling away. So let come, let be, let go. So, why do we do this? Yeah, we could say we do it because it's reality and we want to live in reality. But it's what we come to see is who we really are. Okay? Because ultimately, what we're being with, the arising, persisting, and falling away, the most important phenomena that we're investigating in our practice is our self. It's the way the self arises, persists, and falls away. So when we're not fully aware of and conscious of arising, persisting, and falling away, we tend to fixate and make something out of what doesn't exist. We create a persistent form out of something that's always changing, even disappearing. And that's what we do with ourselves. We fixate on a subject of our experience. The Buddha said of the three poisons, so the manifestations of attachment, that ignorance was actually the root. That was the main one. The craving and aversion, in a way, also arise from ignorance. So if we got to the ignorance one, that really helps us unlock and heal and treat the craving and aversion ones. So I think we tend to focus on the greed and the hatred ones, right? Greed, hatred, and ignorance. Greed, anger, and ignorance. Sometimes it's the aversion is anger. It's phrased as anger, but I think hatred or ill will. I think aversion is. I like those phrasings better. Because we all know greed is bad, and we all know that ill will or hatred is bad. So those are easy ones to say. Those are definitely poisons. But we tend to maybe give a little bit of a pass to the ignorant signs. But the Buddha says the ignorance one is the root. That's why when we're studying the self, so that's the heart of the investigation, is to discover or really reveal who you are through this practice of presence with arising, persisting, and falling away. In the Genjo Koan, Dogen, as one of his metaphors, firewood becomes ash and it doesn't become firewood again. Yet don't suppose that the ash is after and the firewood before. Understand that firewood abides in its condition as firewood, which fully includes before and after, while it is independent of before and after. Ash abides in its condition as ash, which fully includes before and after. Just as firewood doesn't become firewood again after it is ash, you do not return to birth after death. Birth is a condition complete this moment. Death is a condition complete this moment. They are like winter and spring. You don't call winter the beginning of spring, nor summer the end of spring. So this particular part of the Genjo Koan is kind of working to neutralize our tendency to think that there's something essential that moves through conditions or states, right? Which is fundamentally the delusion of self that we understand in Buddhism, right? There's a me, and then I'm experiencing certain things and going through certain phases and states. So in order to keep us, or to point us away from this, he talks about firewood and ash. So we might think that, well, there's the firewood, and now there's something there that then turns into ash, which then turns into something else. And all along, there's something there that kind of moves through, something essential. At a certain very obvious level, yes, firewood does turn into ash. So there is transformation from form to form. But is there something essential that abides independent of the form that somehow carries through? No. It's the firewood as firewood, the ash as the ash. And then he says, the firewood includes before and after, and the ash includes before and after. So that's his way of saying, well, yeah, there is a transformation, in the ashes before was firewood, which is included in the ash. Okay, and then we start to get very conceptual, and it starts to get kind of murky. But when we treat each of our conditions as whole in itself, and then we allow them to really go, just really pass, and then really open the space for something new to arise. Now we become the awareness that is the ground of all of that arising, all of that selving that we're doing. In fact, we don't even say that you become aware of the ground. You become aware of yourself as the ground. The awareness is the ground. So all of the arising is you. We have all of these habits that get in the way of our just appreciating, what arises, persists, and falls away. Just by trying to manipulate them and contrive them, control them is the main one. But then we also have reactions, emotional reactions to what is happening. Sometimes those reactions are just, our responses to what is arising. We have to let these reactive systems subside. That's where the spaciousness comes in, to allow them to exhaust themselves. Just cease of their own accord. Right. So the word nirvana is translated as cessation, right? And cessation is different from stopping. It's different from, like, you have a car and then the car stops at a stop sign. It's not like that. It's like it disappears, dissolves. There's nothing more to stop when it ceases. So this is how it is with your selving. The cessation of your selving isn't that the self stops doing anything. The self disappears. There's nothing more to stop. You just don't set up anything in opposition to what is. The monk asked Tozen how to go beyond the extremes of hot and cold. And Tozen said, when hot, be hot, when cold, be cold. So don't set up the opposition to what is. Just be whatever it is. And fully accept it in all of its sensory richness. As we have with every moment, this incredible sensorium of feelings and thoughts, sensations. It's never boring. Ever changing. And then continually bringing the intensity of your attention to this arising and falling. It's really available for an infinitesimal investigation. The richness is infinite. Actually, if you go into the texture of the sensation of, say, a pain in your body, right, or the nuances of a sound, the heater or an airplane, a dog barking, or the wind, it's infinitely rich. So no end to that sensory field. And you shine that light inside, and something may emerge. You can reveal yourself as that. Yeah. It's nothing more. Yeah, so don't get in the way of yourself. Let the dharmas show you. Reveal yourself as this.